We really are kind of responsible to each other. And what's happened is now they don't care to answer to each other or to me, but I'm still answering to them. Once again, more polygamy double standard.
Please figure this out so I could be in a plural family again. This is what it would be like to be...
It would kind of
I never signed up for monogamy. I never did.
Been really unhappy. He's been a very unhappy person. And so it's been a lot, and it's been a challenge for our relationship.
Hey friends, it's Katie. How are you? It's Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. So I was watching Secrets of Polygamy yesterday on A&E on Hulu. And at the very end of the episode, this guy who is the former Attorney General of Utah, Mark Shirtleaf, was grilled by the investigator, Matt Browning, and about corruption and if he ever was taking money from the Kingstons. And he got so mad. He was like puffed up and he was getting really angry, right? And at the mere thought that he would be accused of corruption. Mind you, a couple years ago, he was actually arrested by the feds for public corruption, and for some reason, the case was dropped because I think it's Utah, and he got out of the charges. And then the state of Utah agreed to pay for his attorney's fees. But it's funny because I was watching this and I was thinking, he's so mad of the mere accusation that he would help the culties do anything and go easy on them. And then I was like, wait a minute. This dude is the divorce attorney for Kody Brown's best friend, Kyle, and is currently in the process of litigating that against his ex-wife who left her, the same Kyle that was accused of DV and took a plea deal. This dude, Mark, is his lead attorney. So Mark went from being the AG that took down Warren Jeffs to the lawyer that now helps men in the AUB get custody of their children in a divorce, even though they've been accused of DV in the past and have a conviction for it and a former protective order. And the poor wife gets visitation. There's a lot of links in polygamy as to why things don't get prosecuted. And it starts and stops with the amount of money these groups have and how some politicians are so corrupt in Utah, they will take payoffs to make things go away, to put on judges and cases, to not prosecute. Mark is the same dude that refused to prosecute Kody Brown, even though on public television, he was confessing to committing crimes under the laws and the statutes of Utah law. He refused to prosecute Kody back in 2011. So this is the same guy that covered up this huge issue with the Kingstons, which, by the way, go watch this episode. Go watch Secrets of Polygamy. If you don't know a lot about the groups, it's a really great place to start. My biggest complaint is they don't talk about the AUB. But I was just thinking, how is it that you go from being the top law enforcement lawyer in the state to defending people that are in the cult? And then you get mad when you're called out for corruption. And you were the same guy that refused to prosecute Kody Brown. You realize that this is why nothing happens. This is why the men think that they can do everything and there's no consequences, because lawmakers and people in positions within the court and the attorney generals are being paid off, even though they say they're not. So that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about. That was a long rant. Over on Instagram, Christine Brown has been getting some backlash because she and David were in North Carolina visiting Maddie last week. I think it was last week. And she made a post about needing a snack for the races. She was at the Speedway, and David had Skittles and beer. And it was just like a funny troll post. And some of the people in the comments were like, you're not really over Kody because you're still talking about him. Move on, move on. And I honestly think that these posts, as much as I think they're guided by Christine, I actually think David's behind some of these because I think David wants to stick up for his woman. And I think when I'm just putting myself in David's shoes, David thinks Kody's a dumb A. And so if he's running his mouth about his wife now, right? That's David's wife. Kody's running his mouth about his wife. I sometimes think that some of these are just David's way of responding to what's being said about the woman that he loves. And some fans think it's just awful that Christine is doing this and that how dare she respond to these accusations that Kody put out about her and keeps saying about her to the press. And I just thought, I don't know if you like Christine or you hate Christine, but Christine can do whatever the damn hell she wants on her Instagram. And she's also getting a ton of backlash right now because of her Plexus sales, and people are mad about her continuing to push MLM products and continuing to, like, people are saying her Instagram is becoming like a way for her to make money, and it's just, they don't feel like connected to her anymore. And then they're also mad at her for promoting Plexus, and then they're also mad at her for constantly dogging Kody. So I guess the love affair with Christine is starting to wane, I guess. I don't know. I'm neutral on Christine. I think most of you know that. She's a person that's human and makes mistakes. And so, she's living, she's learning, and she's got to make money somehow. She wasn't making it on the show. And if you look into their court records from their lawsuit, you quickly learn the reason why they have to promote these MLMs is because no brands will work with them. She and the other wives have a hard time getting brand deals because there's a clause in most of these sponsorships that have to do with morality and if you have connections to any sort of criminal activity. And even though they're out of polygamy now, they're still tied to it. So some brands just still don't want to be affiliated with them. They think it's too risky. And I can't blame brands. Brands don't want to be tied to anything that has to do with underage marriages and coercion. So I guess MLMs are the only way that she thinks she can make money on social media. So, it's one thing to be upset with Christine and stuff, but just be mad at her for a legitimate reason, not that she's posting about Kody. And I honestly, like I said, believe a lot of these posts on her Instagram that are throwing shade at Kody are probably because of David. I think, and this is just my experience, is when you get a guy that's like a protector and they think it's their job to stand up and stand out and stick up for their lady, some guys don't take it kindly to men that talk crap about their wives. And Christine finally has someone sticking up for her, which maybe some people aren't used to, but they're doing it in a funny way, at least. It's not like he's on there and on his Instagram saying derogatory things about Kody. He's just mocking the stupid things that Kody says. So next, Robyn Brown says she's been ditched. She said this last week in an article with People. She says she feels like the wives have basically ditched her and she's by herself now, and this isn't what she signed up for. And this is something that Robyn has said for years on the show. I didn't sign up for polygamy or monogamy. I don't want Kody at my house all the time. Right, Robyn? He was always at your house. I didn't sign up to be an only wife. No, you wanted to be the head wife, and you wanted their money. But then I keep wondering, if she feels so ditched, and if she feels so all of these things, why doesn't she leave him? Nobody's holding her there unless Kody literally is holding her there. If she wanted to leave, she could leave. She has threatened to leave a number of times. Y'all, this woman, anytime Kody and her got into a fight, I was told by a friend of the family's that Robyn would always threaten to divorce him and be like, I'm going to get out with my covenant that you made me have, that you gave to me, and you can just, if you want to do that for them, I'm going to divorce you and take all your money. So now I'm just like, well, why aren't you divorcing him and taking all his money, Robyn? Like, Robyn's hypocrisy with this is starting to show. And then on the other hand, I feel kind of bad for her because I kind of feel like she's probably being completely controlled and like berated by Kody. But then on the other hand, I'm like, she's been a party to so much chaos in this damn family and she's created so much pain and heartache. I have a hard time feeling sorry for her. So Robyn feeling ditched doesn't really like pull at my heartstrings. And I don't know if it's pulling at other people's heartstrings because it's just, it doesn't pull at my heartstrings. So Robyn is feeling ditched by women that she never interacted with, never had conversations with, never saw outside of filming, never had her kids, never allowed her kids to have a relationship with. And she didn't sign up for this still. But she's still not going to leave Kody. But they're still miserable. So as I have been going back in time and looking and pulling through the debt of Robyn Brown and Kody Brown and peeling back the layers of their lies, another hit piece has come out about Amos, and it's about his divorce. And it says that he has a lot of debt. According to The Sun, he had $20,000 in debt before he started dating Meri, according to divorce records. Like, they are really digging into like stuff to try to prove that this dude is a bad guy. And listen, a lot of people in their 50s have debt. I'm not going to say what is right or wrong. I know a lot of people, especially because of the pandemic, lost their jobs, and that put a lot of people into debt. I also know that some people have a lot of debt. And you know what? I'm sure if we could see Meri's credit card bills, I bet you Meri has a lot of debt too. Even though she's got like the LuLaRoe stuff and she's doing all this MLM stuff, even though they make a lot of money, they have to like buy a ton of stuff and carry a lot of inventory. And they end up like not making as much money as you would think. So part of me is like, well, if we pulled Meri's credit cards, how much debt does she have? Can equally, how much debt does Kody have? He's got a $600,000 loan on his house. He owes Meri $300,000, Janelle a couple $100,000. Kody has a lot of debt. Kody owes probably over $1 million at this point to either banks or to his ex-wives. But they want us to focus on Amos, who has $20,000 in debt. And again, I'm not saying that Amos is the most perfect person in the world, but come on, you guys, they're not even married. Why are they going so hard for this dude? What's the angle here? Oh, it's Kody. So they say that they filed divorce on grounds of irreconcilable differences. And divorce was finalized in spring of 2021. And she got a 2020 GMC Terrain, and he got a 1996 Ford Expedition and a 2019 Cadillac. Neither one of them got alimony. And when the debts were totaled and they were divided, she took $15,000 with her and he took $17,000 with him. And he was also responsible for $3,400 of joint debt that he took. So he walked away from the divorce with $21,000 in debt from credit cards, from Chase, from Discover, from PayPal, from HSBC, Merrick Bank, Credit One, whatever. And then he was in a car accident and got a settlement. And so they were going to split the settlement that they received. And they bring up the restraining order. The judge also put in a restraining order on both parties, demanding that they do not attempt, threaten, or commit domestic violence against each other. That includes stalking, harassing, or physically harming each other. They are also not allowed to enter each other's property. We've reached out to Amos and Jennifer, but we haven't received a comment. So they're also prohibited from sharing personal information with each other, with people. And I'm pretty sure Jennifer shared a bunch of personal information with The Sun about him. I don't know what they're trying to do here. Even if he's the worst guy in the world, and even if he's after money, like, so Kody's bad too. what do you want? What do you want? What's all this is to me is a distraction of this guy is somehow scamming Meri. That's what they want us to believe. Maybe he is. And somehow that ignores all of the crap that Kody does. Like, why can't the Sun just dig into Kody? I mean, if they're such super sleuths, I'm sure they can find all the things that I have found, right? They can go into the courts in Utah, since they seem to be getting Utah records. They can go into the federal court records with his lawsuit. They can go into the property records. They can pull the liens that he had in Las Vegas. They can look at his property distribution issues that he had in Vegas. They can look at the property issues that he's having down in Arizona. Why are we focusing on some dude that hasn't even been on the show? And we have one picture of him, and we literally have one live stream where they answered questions. She hasn't done a single post since. Meri's last post was on January 22nd. She hasn't posted on Instagram on her feed in 8 days. She hasn't posted in 8 days. She hasn't said another thing about Amos in 8 days on her Instagram or on her social media. And it's like they're still digging into him. And this is what they're saying is he's after her money. He's a narcissist. He's using her for her fame. Well, if he is, Meri will learn. But that doesn't change the fact that Kody is a douche canoe and he has $1 million worth of debt. I mean, not $1 million. Maybe. He owes money to the sister, to Meri. He owes money to Janelle. He owes, I think his mortgage is like $700,000. He's, I'm sure, got debt out the wazoo. I'm sure he's got a ton of credit cards. Kody loves to spend. I'm sure he's got a credit line at David Yurman for his tacky jewelry. And I'm sure he's got a credit line at Tiffany's so that he can buy Robyn her Tiffany's jewelry that's on the lower end of the spectrum but still expensive. And I'm sure that they have a credit line for the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol sets and their $1 million crystals so that they can become prophets of God. Kody was actually spotted in Utah the other day driving a Mercedes. I don't know where he got the Mercedes, but it was a white Mercedes convertible, according to someone on Reddit. And this article is making the rounds. And there's no photograph of the Mercedes that I could find. And I didn't see a Mercedes registered in his name. So it could just be like a lease. But why aren't they talking about what Kody does with money? Or like, why didn't Kody pay his kids? Hey, that's the next article for you. Why was Kody allowed to labor traffic his children on national television, commit crimes on television, and not get caught and have nobody talk about it? Because the corruption in Utah is a thing, and the mainstream media apparently doesn't care about the truth about polygamy. That's just my 2 cents. But if you want to know the truth, check out Secrets of Polygamy, which is on A&E on Mondays. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.